Hello guys, Crispy here, welcome back to another video. In this one, my friends, I'm going to be testing a GeForce RTX 3050 8GB model in Borderlands 4. This one is the Gigabyte Eagle version of the card. I'm running it with the latest Nvidia drivers and I'm not manually overclocking it. You can see all of its specs here in Tech Power Up's GPU Z, and over on the left, I'm pairing it with the i5-12600KF CPU, overclocked to 5.1 GHz and 32 GB of RAM. Let's get into it, shall we? Going over the settings first, I'm starting at 1080p resolution, utilizing the low settings preset with DLSS set to full resolution, so this is DLAA. And if you're wondering, yes, in other games, DLAA is a bit more intensive than if you turn off the anti-aliasing or upscaling completely in this case, but in this title, it's actually less intensive than if you have the upscaling method disabled, so very interesting. And we're utilizing the lowest settings here. And well, my friends, Borderlands 4 with the lowest settings possible doesn't look very good, unfortunately. Like, you lose all of the grass detail. This is supposed to have a lot of grass leaves and so on, and, well, now it's just a plain field with a texture of grass and no real grass, unfortunately, but this is still not enough for the 3050 to be able to run this game at a very smooth frame rate. Yeah, it's 30 plus FPS, and this area over here is one of the more intensive ones that I've come across so far. Fighting bosses and so on is going to drop a little bit further than this, but yeah, starting this over here, getting like 33 frames per second is not too bad. 32, that means that it's possibly going to dip down into the 20s, but not by too much. So if you lock the FPS to 30 frames, if you overclock the card just a little bit, you know, you should be able to hold 30 FPS throughout the entirety of the game here. The frame time graph is a bit weird. As usual, it has some spikes here and there. The game still suffers from traversal stuttering because it's UE5, and I'm not sure if that's ever going to be fixed, but you know, oh my god, that's a big one. It's not super game-breaking, you know, a lot of people are still enjoying the game like this, and some of them don't even notice the stuttering somehow, and if you load different areas of the game, oh boy, this is a very big one, actually. If you load different areas of the game, the second time around, those areas, it should be smooth and it shouldn't really have those stutters anymore. So they're only going to happen when the game needs to load things for the first time. Alright, just in true UE5 fashion, even though this has a shader compilation feature that actually takes a really long time to do. But yeah, anyway, let's go. We got the bastard over here, freaking Bob. Okay, ooh, that's a very big weapon. Alright, badass mangler. Jack, what are you doing here? Why are you attacking me? You should be attacking the psycho bastards. Let's go. Oh man, okay, you know what? Let's do this. Yeah, boy! There we go. So it's still playable, as you can see. Is it very enjoyable? Not really, since it drops to 30 FPS very often, you know. I feel like you should be aiming at least for like 60 FPS on average in a game like this to have a very good experience, and, well, maybe medium settings at the same time. Obviously, you'll need a very high-end GPU for that. Well, not very, well, actually, kind of, right? Like a 5060 Ti tier GPU, or maybe 5060, the normal one, would be able to play this game on medium settings, 1080p, 60 FPS average. That's very underwhelming once again, but oh man, it is how it is, my friends. And I really hope to see the developers in the future trying to tackle the performance issues. You know, the CEO doesn't care, but maybe the developers do, and I look forward to playing this game maybe in a year. And that's what I recommend you to do as well, by the way, especially if you have an RTX 3050. Wait for it to be fixed. Wait for it to go on sale as well, because once it's fixed, it's going to be cheaper. And then buy the game, and it's going to be a better experience. Probably. I'm speculating here. I don't know the future. It could be the same in a year or two, but I hope it's not. At least the... wait a second. There's this thing over here. Bang, bang turret. At least the Borderlands 3, the previous installment in the series, that game also came out completely broken, and then they fixed it. Let's use DLSS on quality. This is DLSS 4, so it actually looks really good as an upscaler. As you can see, I can tell the difference. It's a little bit more noisy, especially on those shadows over there. and the shadows on the ground. Shadows in general are going to be a little bit noisier here because the internal resolution is 720p at the moment. It is upscaling to 1080p, but the picture quality in general, like if you look at this, that's a good weapon. Okay, Weeping Ray, Phage. Okay, you know what? Let me just see it over here. Reload. Let's see how it reloads. All right, this is interesting. Yeah, like the weapons, all of these weapons are super different from what you'd see in other games, you know. And there are tons of SMGs and assault rifles and sniper rifles for you to experiment with and play with. It's a lot of fun once again, but the performance sucks. And right now on low settings, we're seeing a lot of shadow popping as well. Look at that. That's just really bad looking. If I zoom in, there's nothing there. But as we walk, you can see it just disappearing, and it's so ugly. Oh man. And the game is so pretty at higher settings as well. It's really a good looking game. Not amazing, but you know, it's very good looking indeed. So it really sucks that we need to lower down the graphics settings so much for it to be playable on the RTX 3050. I don't feel like this GPU is that slow to warrant lowest settings possible, 720p resolution internally with DLSS quality, and still not hit 60 frames per second. I think like a GTX 1060 would be capable of providing these graphics with FSR quality, for example, at 50 frames per second in lowest settings. But no, we're here with the 3050, which is a much better GPU or faster GPU than the 1060. Not better though, because 1060 was just goated, right? When it came out in 2016, it was an amazing card, mid-range at $250, and it had GTX 980 performance, which was a previous almost flagship GPU at 500 plus. So amazing GPU. Basically, you got last generation high-end performance for half the price and more VRAM as well, 6 gigabytes versus 4 on the 980. So pretty good stuff indeed on that GPU. And the 3050, well, yeah, I didn't completely dislike it when it came out because we were in the middle of the mining craze and GPU prices were awful. It wasn't the mining craze, it was COVID, yeah. Yeah, but the GPU prices were terrible back then, and you could get this one for like $300, which was one of the cheapest cards back then. And then like the 3060 was 600. Everything was completely messed up then, guys. It was just awful. The state of the GPU market and PC market in general. But the thing is, that's a nice throw right there. Yeah, it wasn't really that terrible because it was the only GPU that was kind of affordable back then. But fast forward a few months and the price is stabilized and the 3050 was just terrible, basically. You know, like 8 gigabytes of VRAM was nice to have on a 50 tier GPU, but the price of this card was not 50 tier GPU at all. All right, come on. Oh man, no. Okay, come on, let's go. We need to kill one of these little guys over here. Let's go, reload, please, thank you. There it is. Oh boy, this boss guy, really tough. They're all really tough usually. I hope he doesn't regenerate health. If it does, I'm just gonna get out of this, the dome area. If you get out, he just disappears, so yeah. Come on, we're almost getting his shields. All right, now we're taking some HP off of him. Good stuff. Oh boy, let's go. Oh, I need to heal. It's not ready yet. Come on. There it is. All right. We're doing this, guys. But yeah, as you can see, guys, dropping into the 40s over here. Not too bad. Where's the guy? Hello? Guy? Oh, there he is. Wait, I don't see him. Oh, there he is. They're all looking the same, right? What the hell? Bro! All right, kill that one. Go back into action. Let's go. And I mean, this game with these FPS that we're getting, 40-ish, explosions. Oh my god, what the heck? He's just legs now. This is so weird. Okay. Stop that. Stop with the legs, please. I need to kill someone. That one. Yeah, there we go. Woo boy. Where is he? Where is it? It's actually so funny. Oh man, look at that. But yeah, with the FPS that we're getting, 40 plus basically, this is actually a playable experience. It's not super enjoyable again, because it's not buttery smooth, but at least it's very responsive of an experience with reflex enabled, so I feel like a lot of people would enjoy the game like this. They would be able to with the 3050. It's just a matter of, it could be so much better. The game looks so much better just on medium settings compared to the low settings. But you need to sacrifice the quality a lot for it to be playable and somewhat enjoyable on the RTX 3050. And that's a shame, basically. There we go, finally. Whoo, boy, look at that! So much loot! What am I hearing? Hello? What? Hello? What is that? It's coming from here. I think he's bugged or something. The legs are still making a sound of walking. But yeah, guys, this is it. 47 FPS average, 35 1% lows. Not bad of an experience. It could be better, though, and I hope they optimize the game for it to be better later in the future. Let's try it with... Oh, yeah, I completely forgot. Please, developers, add FSR 3.1 frame generation so we can use FG over DLSS. That will look so much better, because at this moment we need to utilize FSR to be able to enable frame generation, and again, FSR looks a lot worse. You can already tell over there. Like, the aliasing is insane. There's a lot of noise as well. We're up into the 80s and 90s at this moment, but this isn't an intensive area, so it will drop more than this. And in terms of input lag, it's super noticeable, actually. You can get used to it, but once it starts dropping to like 70 FPS, for example, it starts feeling really bad, and it will definitely drop to 70 FPS. It looks really good for YouTube, probably, because you can see all of the smoothness here if you're watching this at 60 FPS, but input lag-wise, there's way too much of it. I really don't like it. And this also grays out reflex, so maybe that is not enabled anymore. Like, what if I disable it, enable this? No, it is enabled. It is forced enabled. But it's still not doing a fantastic job, honestly. Frame generation from DLSS, by the way, if you have an RTX 40 series or a 50 series GPU, that FG, I can deal with the input lag all the way down to like 70 FPS. It feels good and responsive still, but this feels worse than 70 FPS with DLSS FG, because FSR FG just has a lot more input lag to it, apparently. In this particular title, that is. There are some games out there where FSR FG is way better of an implementation than this one. For example, Dying Light the Beast is one of those cases. It's just... Yeah, I don't know what they did with the FSR FG implementation in that game, but it is fantastic. If you're playing with a controller, I think this would be a really good experience, though, because with a controller, you're less likely to notice that input lag. So the 60 FPS is out of the question unless you utilize, like, performance DLSS. As you can see, performance DLSS at 1080p resolution is rendering the game at 540p, so it's a really low internal resolution. It still works pretty decently for what it is. It's DLSS 4, so it actually does look okay, but it still dips down into the 50s. As you can see, just a little bit more detail on the picture right now, and yeah, it's already 57, 58. Yeah. Oh boy, the looks are surprisingly good though. I feel like I wouldn't really mind playing with DLSS performance if it was a stable 60 plus FPS experience all of the time, even at 1080p resolution, you know? But the fact that it still drops from 60 FPS, I don't know if I would use this. Like, after seeing FSR quality, this actually is looking surprisingly decent compared to that, even though it's a lower internal resolution. But again, it's DLSS 4, so the upscaling part of it is looking great. And yeah, it's to the point where FSR quality looks worse than DLSS performance in this game. That's awesome. I wasn't expecting to see this. The big problem is DLSS performance. If you go from like DLAA to DLSS quality, you gain a ton of performance in this game. But if you go from DLSS quality to DLSS performance, you don't gain a lot of performance. You gain like 5, well, in this case, 10 or 15 frames per second, which can make a bit of a difference, but again, we're not really in a very intensive area right now. I feel like it would drop down into like the low 50s still. Again, this is growing on me. 60 FPS average, not too bad. It is 540p. You gotta remember that it is 540p. It's not a well-optimized game, but it can be very playable and it can be enjoyable with the 3050 here. We're seeing a lot more spikes in that frame time graph though. That's pretty bad, actually. Oh, boy. Come on. Come on. Yeah, down into the 40s. Look at that. Okay. So now that we're fighting these guys, that's what I wanted to see. You can tell that it's not really that different from DLSS quality, is it? But let's keep the DLSS on performance, which is usable, once again, in terms of resolution. And let's test it on medium settings. So, medium are much more intensive once again, and it looks a lot better than low. It's loading things. I'm gonna quit the game and restart it. Okay, so now this weapon with DLSS performance in the medium settings is looking really awful. Like, you can see the reflective surfaces on it just are a blob of noise. Really bad looking. This one is the same. Yeah, I don't like that, guys. I also don't like the time of the day right now. What happened? It was midday or whatever, and now it's super dark. But well, guys, aside from some weapons looking awful... Ooh, look at that duplication there on the sight of this weapon. Holy crap, that's so much ghosting. And in the middle of it, it looks like it's running at 3 FPS. Oh my god, look at this! Ugh! Ugh! Okay. No. But aside from the weapons, imagine you holster your weapons. I don't know how to do that, actually. I don't think I can, maybe? Anyway, imagine you holster your weapon. Everything else actually looks way better, right? You got grass going on. The shadows look a lot better as well. Look at this. The lighting also looks a lot better. We got the clouds back, and it does look very pretty. Okay, aside from the internal resolution being so low from the DLSS performance, and in some weapons, not all of them. Look, yeah, this one just... Maybe it happened previously on low, I don't know, but it could be something due to having more settings enabled and just DLSS not liking some of those settings, like ray traced reflections and whatever. I'm not sure if those are enabled here on medium, but whatever. Yeah, so we do lose a bit of performance. It is what it is. I'm going to try it with quality DLSS next, okay, in medium settings. So, as I told you, it's a 5 FPS difference or so. So, not really that big. That's what she's... No. We still got that noise on this weapon here. And this one as well. It just looks so weird, honestly. Like, what is going on? Yes, so we enabled lumen reflections. That's what's happening here. So the lumen reflections on medium are so low quality, especially coupled with the DLSS on quality, or a lower resolution than native, that it starts looking really bad. So what I would do is set this back to low to have those screen space reflections back. And these aren't as accurate. Wait, hello? Alright, there we go. These aren't as accurate, but look at how much better that looks. See, medium settings can look worse in some ways compared to low settings. This is now super good, alright? And we're back to like 50-ish FPS, although over here it's back to the 40s, so yeah. I mean, it's not too bad, is it? We played the entire boss fight previously with 40-ish FPS. This is dropping a little bit more, I think, sometimes. Maybe because of the area where we are. It's more detailed, has more stuff going on, more enemies as well. I really thought medium would be completely unplayable, and it would be if we disable DLSS, of course. At native resolution, it is unplayable. But if you use DLSS on quality, which is 720p internally, it works really well, as you can see. Wow, this is actually awesome. I'm glad we came across this area. So much chaos happening around us. Pretty good stuff. Just play on medium, I guess, with quality DLSS, because now we can have good visuals. It won't drop from 30 FPS. And it can be enjoyable still. VRAM is also enough for medium settings and medium textures and so on. We got the grass back, which is very important. Anyway, guys, I think that's about it. We found the best settings, I would say, for the RTX 3050. Wait, they're playing some music here. That might be copyrighted, I don't know. I need to go. These guys are just dancing there. I'm gonna let them have their fun. Alright. And I'm gonna let you have your fun as well by getting out of here. If you find these videos fun, go watch another one. But this one is over. Thanks so much for watching, by the way. Really appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. You know, that helps a lot, of course. Leave a comment down below for that algorithm and so on. And, yeah, I'll catch you in the next one very soon, tomorrow, with Battlefield 6. It's finally coming. I'm super excited for it. So stay tuned. Love you all. Bye-bye.